You're going to come up on the stage. You're going to go to the appropriate space with your last name. You're going to get your envelope. Then you're going to go to the back wall where you'll get a gift from the Alumni Association. Then you'll go to the next table and get an I matched at sign with a Sharpie, which at 12:01 you'll be able to fill in. And then you can go back to your seats. You cannot open your envelopes until we say at 12 o'clock. And by the way, you can hold them up to the light for the next hour. It's not going to help. Okay, let's get started.
Well, shall we? Shall we launch the festivities? Big day, big day. And I'm just going to say on behalf of all of your faculty that we're proud of every one of you. And we are really with you today. So, and it's so nice to have others here with you as well. So let's hope for a really fun celebratory next hour and a half or so. I know we have an hour to kill before you can really find out your future. So let's just get into the more formal activities of killing this hour with you, and while you anticipate eagerly. For those who don't know me, I want to welcome the class of 2024, a very special class for us. You'll hear why for many reasons. My name is Barbara Bass. I'm the Dean of the School of Medicine and Health Science. This is my primary mission in today's events. I also am the VP for Health Affairs, and I'm the CEO of our Medical Faculty Practice Plan, known as the MFA, soon to be rebranded as GW Medicine, encompassing what we all really are. It's a great privilege to be here with you today and to celebrate this momentous time with you. I think that the key thing that we all have to remember here is that you have been raised by a group of people that are committed to your future, but you have also really found your paths and are going to find out what those really will be for you in the very, very, very near future, and that next stage of making you the physicians that you will be to serve our community. And I can assure you that everyone here is very excited for you. Everybody have their envelope? Got a lot of envelopes here? Okay, I see some envelopes. Okay, envelopes. Keep them handy, keep them handy. And I do think, though, that this class is special for several reasons. I've been in this job for 4 years now, and my first match day was about this time 4 years ago. I think most of us remember what the world was going through at that time. We had just, the global pandemic had just been declared, and my first meeting, my wonderful first occasion to greet the fourth year class was to tell them 3 days before match day that you're all going home. And we weren't going to do this like this. We were going to have a virtual event. Your families weren't going to be with you. Whoever is here with you today, we're not going to be here. I can tell you, I've never seen a more angry bunch of medical students in my life. I didn't take it personally, but I got to tell you, it was, once we sent them off, we'll be back in just a couple of weeks. You know, let's wait for that bell curve to come on down. See you back in 6 weeks, not to worry. Have a great graduation. We all know what happened next. So, and you all, of course, started your journey in that, you really had an amazing start to your medical school experience. And what I think our group at large, your faculty, the staff you work with, the educators you work with, would say that you have been a remarkably resilient group that has learned so much during this time, that has demonstrated your commitment, your determination, your support for one another in ways that I think probably created challenging circumstances, much more than we ordinarily ask of our MD students. Knowing it's always going to be tough. Right? We're packing your brains with all kinds of wonderful lifelong stuff, but usually you don't have to do it under such circumstances. So congratulations to you for having done that in that most rigorous period. And we'll have more to say about that in another big celebratory day, which is coming in about 2 months, right? So that's another big one to look forward to as you actually turn into those MDs on graduation day and really take on that title of physician. But today in Max, you're special for another reason too, as you will be at graduation. And that is, of course, that this is our bicentennial year at the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. That was added 50 years ago, but the School of Medicine part is 200 years old. We were in that charter that James Monroe signed when he founded the university, George Washington University, an act of Congress here in Washington, D.C. in 1821 was when that university was founded. But a core element of that charter was a commitment to medicine, to education, to training the next generation, to doing all of those things that we're doing today. It took a couple of years to get it done. So it wasn't until 2024, right now, this bicentennial year, that the GW School of Medicine, the medical component, was launched. And so we are celebrating that bicentennial year today. So you are a special match group because of that significance as well, making us actually the 11th oldest medical school in the nation. We're kind of proud of that. It's kind of a cool thing. The oldest one in Washington, D.C., of course. And we've been training people like you, educating you, training you, developing you, making you into those compassionate, skilled professionals. We are a professional school that you're going to become. And today you get to see what your next focus of that training will become. And I know we have had a fabulous match. I've seen the list. You're going to all be, I hope you're really thrilled, and I bet you will be. And I know that it's really a daunting moment to realize you're leaving behind this cocoon of general development to now know what you're going to really focus on in the future. And given that it's a special day, we thought that we'd maybe extend this prelude a little bit like we're doing right now. You could have maybe sat outside and enjoyed this beautiful day instead, but we have you here. And we wanted to bring someone to kill a little bit of his time, speak for us. It really has, in the course of his career, we wanted someone to really speak to that joy and privilege of this next step in your life that you're going to take as a physician training to be something specific. And as we thought about that, and knowing we are 6 blocks from the White House, don't ever forget that. It makes us a pretty special place, too. We have the honor of having with us none other than the physician to the president, Dr. Kevin O'Connor. And for those of you who know him, and I know many of you have embraced him as a mentor, I know he's been a guide for many of you. I personally have really enjoyed admiring his career and his insights and his wisdom, which he shares most readily. As a fellow Army veteran surgeon myself, I feel like I have a special bond with him. But I think another bond that I have, and I hope you all will share with him, is the incredible joy that we have found in our careers as physicians, the joy of being someone who cares for others as a physician. Dr. O'Connor, here's the official part. Dr. O'Connor is the 16th physician to the President of the United States. He happens to be on our faculty. He's on leave for a few years while he takes care of our president. But in our department, he is in our school, he's the Associate Professor of Health, Human Function, and Rehabilitation Sciences with an appointment in the Department of Medicine as well. As physician to the president, and I've been to visit his magnificent shop, Dr. O'Connor leads the White House Medical Unit, a team of approximately 60 healthcare professionals from all across the uniformed services. Previously, he served as the physician to Vice President Biden during President Biden's tenure as vice president. And then starting in 2009, and that was back in 2009, and as a White House physician beginning in 2006 during the George W. Bush administration. Dr. O'Connor additionally served 22 years of active duty in the United States Army, including tours of duty with the 82nd Airborne Division, 75th Ranger Regiment, and the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. He was the recipient of the Combat Medal Badge, and in 2010, he was designated a Master Flight Surgeon. He retired from military service at the rank of colonel. Those wings, I love those wings. I never got those wings. And he has earned more than 30 commendations during his military career. Among his professional activities, he serves as a charter member of the Committee on Tactical Combat Casualty Care, a group that has done incredible work in preparing our workforce and caring for our soldiers. A working group of the Department of Defense Joint Trauma System tasked with developing best practices for casualty care from point of wounding to definitive medical treatment facility. He also serves as the medical director of the Governor's Health Sciences Academy at Alexandria City High School, a workforce development partnership that our School of Medicine and Health Sciences has with the Alexandria City Public Schools, designed to address the critical shortage of skilled healthcare workers. He's widely published in a variety of academic journals, with most focusing on what is referred as what we know in the field as point of wounding care, or care under fire. He's a fellow of the American Academy of Family Physicians, a diplomate of the American Board of Family Medicine, and a diplomate of the National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners. He earned his Bachelor of Science from St. Bonaventure University and his Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine from the New York College of Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. O'Connor completed a residency in family medicine and served as chief resident at the Mountainside Hospital in Montclair, New Jersey, where he met his wife of 28 years, Chris. Together they have 3 wonderful daughters. And I think he's going to help us get through this next 40 minutes with what I know will be a wonderful talk. And I ask you to welcome Dr. Kevin O'Connor with great enthusiasm.
All righty, there we go. All righty, thanks. I got to meet that guy. So here's the ground rules, all right? I hope you have vegetables to throw, so I want this to be interactive. Give me some feedback, right? If you hate what I'm saying, boo me, heckle me. If I touch something you like, clap your hands, laugh. I want this to be light. All right, so thank you very much. As Dean Bass said, I am a 35th year medical student. All right, so now I fully recognize, all right, that I am standing between you and opening those envelopes that are the star of the show today. All right, but here's the deal. All right, they're not going to let you open them until noon, no matter what. All right, so I recommend just relax, kick back. I'm going to try to distract you a little bit and entertain you, and then by the end of my maybe 30-minute talk, we'll be 30 minutes closer to opening those envelopes. So you see, Kristen hit me up a few weeks ago. Dean Bass was going to invite me to put a few thoughts together for you today as a bit of a stage setter for this particular milestone of the journey that's continuing to unfold for you. I appreciate that as the tremendous honor that it is, especially in this bicentennial year. And I give a few white coat ceremonies and commencement addresses and such, just because of the novelty of the job that I'm in right now. And but this was different. I couldn't really just dust something off or repurpose it. You see, Dean Bass had a very specific topic in mind: the joy and privilege of medicine. Wow. Like on one hand, could that be more broad scope and kind of daunting? But on the other hand, what an opportunity for an old guy like me to just give some deliberate thought and think about this for a minute. So I'm going to approach this in a pretty informal way. All right. I'm going to briefly explore the ways in which I see the practice of medicine as an absolute privilege. Right. And then I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the notion of joy. What exactly do I mean by joy? How might we be a source of joy for our patients? And how can we be assured that you personally can live your life? Hear me, I say your life, not just your practice, with joy and abundance. To do this, I'm going to share a couple cool quotes that I came across, and I'll model some vulnerability and relate a couple of my own life's experiences that may entertain you and may perhaps serve as an illustrative example of a couple of the tenets that are preached. So now when I first approached this project, I started the way that one should start any project, taking advantage of the famed Himmelfarb Health Sciences Library. And I came across a couple good resources, some of them actually quite interesting, from almost every specialty. A particularly helpful piece came, believe it or not, from, it was about the joy, returning the joy to medicine from the radiology literature. which I thought was pretty cool. But what I thought was kind of discouraging to me is that almost every article, that I got from the medical literature wasn't so much about joy as it was about combating burnout. Well, at least for me, the absence of burnout, that's not joy. Our aspirations should not simply be to put off burnout for as many years as we can. Our aspirations should not simply be to survive. Our aspirations should strive to thrive, right? So first, we'll start with privilege, all right? I think the best way to start at anything is the beginning. Let's bring you back to when medical school wasn't even a reality. I know that's the wrong year, but it's the only graphic I can get. It was still something that you yearned for, all right? It wasn't oh, next slide. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it was still something that you yearned for, all right? It wasn't a given that you'd even make it in. Well, maybe for some of you it was a slam dunk, but maybe not your school of first choice. And remember that sense of wonder? Maybe a couple of sleepless nights, maybe a pit in your stomach. Those memories are good for tapping into that sense of relief or accomplishment. But the specific part of that process that I want to divine you to right now are your personal statements. Sure, you probably made a case as to why your personal life experiences would make you an important part of any diverse community at a medical school. You probably pointed to a couple of your accomplishments and recognitions to make sure we knew about those. But I bet you touched on why you even wanted this prize, right? Why was that? Was knocking out medical school just be another accomplishment? All right, another trophy? Or maybe, just maybe, did you want to change the world just a little bit? All right, I urge you to go back and reread your personal statements sometime between now and graduation and flag it in your computer to refer to on discouraging days. You weren't lying. Well, not entirely. Deep down, that was the authentic, unjaded you. All right, before you even knew that you'd be granted the privilege of joining this elite club, the one that meets in the doctor's lounge. By the way, just to be specific to GW, for the 178 seats that you're in today, 14,700 people, folks just like you, applied for them. All right, but let's be more nuanced. Only counting the 11,722 who submitted secondary applications, all right? So only counting those who were serious. That's 178 out of 11,722. That's 1.5%. You feel privileged yet? All right, and we haven't even gotten to the real stuff, which is patient care. More on that. Okay, so now I'd like you to bring you to your white coat ceremony. All right, do you remember that? Remember the time you donned that short white coat? You remember how unfamiliar it may have felt? Well, other than just celebrating with your classmates and maybe your family, the most important thing you did that day was, for the first time, to recite your oath, the Hippocratic Oath. Lots of good stuff in there, but for today, I'm going to ask you to reflect on just one line. May I always act to preserve the finest traditions of my calling, and may I long experience the joy of healing those who seek my help. Now, I bet you didn't know that there would be arithmetic in this talk, especially for me. But yes, my central formula in life is this. If you remember nothing else, just write this one into your heart. Remember this. Pain shared equals pain avoided. Joy shared equals joy multiplied. All right, and those are, I don't know if you have math majors here, but those are naturally exponential functions. All right, the graphic representations are hyperbolic. A little math goes a long way. Remember this formula. Now, happiness and joy, they can be confused, right? They're not exactly the same thing. Don't get me wrong. Both are wonderful, and please give me more of both, all right? But we really do have to make that distinction. All right, David Brooks, a very respected New York Times writer and columnist, back in 2019, he wrote, and I thought he was spot on. Happiness involves a victory for self. Joy involves a transcendence of self. Happiness comes from accomplishments. True joy is the present that life gives you as you give away gifts. So for you all, perhaps happiness lies in the qualifications you've achieved by making it this far. And it works. All right, we're all going to be pretty happy on commencement, right? But that means that something wonderful is just in the queue, right? It's getting ready to happen. That true joy lies ahead for you all. And that should rightly be overwhelmingly exhilarating to realize. So for this assignment, I sat down one evening, I tried to think of one of the first moments that I consciously recognized that I was participating in and experiencing as a doctor both the joy and the privilege of medicine. Well, for me, it was during my chief resident year, the Williams family. It's a HIPAA protected name. It's not really Williams. Yeah, you see, these really kind folks, they'll always hold a really special place in my heart because they were among a couple of families who were really my first real family medicine families during residency, probably them and the Lombardos. Well, you see, the Williams family, it was a really neat opportunity for a resident because over the 3 years that they were my family, I got to take care of 4 generations. There was Carol, a girl who was pretty much my age. I mean, I ordered her state-required blood tests, before she got married. And then there was her mom, and then there was grandma, and that was already really cool. And then one day, Carol came in with a bit of nausea. Yeah, so I smiled just a little bit as I dipped her urine. And yep, baby Williams was on his way. So my girlfriend, Chris and Carol, they knew one another, and Carol actually helped me plan my proposal during her delivery, but that's a whole different story. Oh, how much fun it was for her whole family. Almost every prenatal visit, both mom and grandma would join her. Her husband was really cool too, and in every couple of visits, grandma would mention something about Chris and I visiting Innisfree. We had an open invitation, she would insist. You see, Innisfree was the name of her cabin up in Maine and the title of a famous Irish poem by Keats. I always very politely feigned interest but declined, citing busy or some other nonsense. But Grandma was nobody who would be brushed off that easily. So one day, there was no open invitation. Nope, we conducted the well baby visit, and Grandma then simply placed this spoon bent into a complete ring with a key attached to it in my hand. I remember like it was yesterday, a bent up spoon. And with that, she had a loose leaf piece of paper with a hand sketched strip map, of the dirt roads that was for me taken after you turned right off the highway. Bewildered, I looked at Carol. You better take it, is all she said with a grin. And so for the following week, Chris and I, we took a couple days off and we made an extended weekend. All right, off we were to Maine. Yeah, we checked out Cat Mountain, that right turn off the highway. Well, it was well into dusk. In fact, it was getting pretty dark. Well, we ventured several miles into these dirt roads, which were very definitely becoming narrower and narrower with each turn. And by the end, the branches of the trees were very unmistakably scratching the fence of my 1988 Ford Explorer. And that was just fine. Well, Chris and I were experiencing what I could describe fairly as nervous excitement. But I think it's safe to say that if a lumberjack were to pull start a chainsaw about that time, that emotion may have tilted over a little bit, like a pinball machine. Anyway, we scraped along until quite suddenly we rolled into an opening in the trees, and my high beams casted a majestic shadow upon the tapestry of the woods, the shadow of a simple but relatively sizable wooden apron. Yes, Innisfree. We were welcomed by the distant bellowing of moose and the not so distant whirling of what we concluded had to be ghostly demons or maybe Sasquatch. Yeah, after a few minutes, we figured out that they were loons. Because we both seen this blue bond, an extremely outdated reference. If you know, you know. In any case, we didn't waste a lot of time trying out the key at the end of that spoon. So in short order, we were inside the cabin. We flicked on the nearest light switch, and I lit an old shaded floor lamp. We ventured deeper into our guest castle, found the thermostat, bumped that up a bit, and one by one lit up the rest of the place. The welcoming, soft scent of light must. You know that scent that one only finds in a grandparent's house? Well, that warmed our hearts as the radiators clanked into operation and warmed our bodies. We sat on a couple stools around the kitchen island there, and that's when I saw it. It was a faded crayon drawing of the Williams family, clearly drawn by a first or second grader, lovingly clinging to the refrigerator door with a magnet, with a carefully printed first name written in the lower right corner with a heart. Carol, my original patient, the one that was my age. Wow. I said, wow, these people really let us into their lives, I said to Chris. And it was then that I knew that I had chosen right when I had chosen family medicine. But family medicine doesn't have a lock on that kind of relationship, but we just get a few more. All right, so now one of the hardest things to do in life is to have the grace to actually accept joy. All right, I know it sounds counterintuitive. Who doesn't want joy, right? But in the hustle and bustles of getting through our days, and chances are we either briefly recognize and shamefully dismiss these invitations to accept joy, or more commonly, we miss them altogether. You know, because the distraction and the self-absorption with our problems or our tasks, most of which don't really matter that much. Well, these little micro joys that we have to learn to deliberately accept are what I call God winks. Right? This term was coined 20 years or so ago by author Squire D. Rushnell. You know, just a wink. No words, just a little wink and a smile. Something that was just between, maybe your grandpa or your aunt, your uncle, you just gave you that little wink just between you and them, just to give you reassurance, to say, yeah, I see you. Because the notion that someone sees you is really important to us as humans, isn't it? It's important for us to convey to and for our patients for their healing. And it's equally important to and for us as individuals, for our personal resilience, and for our capacity to accept joy. There's a Zulu greeting that I just love, Sawubona. It literally means, I see you. Now, this greeting is more than simply a polite salutation. Sawubona is more intentional than that. It recognizes the worth and the dignity of the person being greeted. It says, I see the whole of you, your experiences, your passions, your pain, your strengths and weaknesses, and your future. You are valuable to me. Sawubona, it also implies that if others see me, well, then I exist. The common response is Shiboka, which means I exist for you. So you see, Sawubona and Shiboka aren't just greetings, they're ways to vitalize and affirm the other person by giving full attention and presence, communicating that you see and cherish their value as a person. Now, doesn't that sound like something we should probably aspire to weave into our practices? Anyway, maybe this has nothing to do with nothing, but I just want to share a God link that I received a few weeks ago that I'm so very grateful that I recognized and then made a very conscious decision to graciously and undeservedly accept. This is something I'm not typically that good at doing. So in any case, I'd had a busy day at work and I was getting ready to leave a little bit earlier than I usually do. You see, my office is in the executive residence on the ground floor, just across from the president's elevator. And he literally has to pass me at least twice a day, usually more than that, to and from his way to the Oval Office. There's no other way between the West Wing and the mansion. And I don't have any set hours. I have a wonderful team who's there all the time, but as part of my own self-imposed ethos, you have to be there and care. I have always viewed the most important part of my day as good morning, Mr. President. And then we go about our days, and when I can, I try to be standing there in the same spot outside my office as he returns home at the end of the day. And the president keeps 3 hours, so it's typically dark by the time I leave the building, but not this day. It was just around dusk, and that's an important part of the story. You see, the way I walk to my car is that I walk down West Colonnade along the Rose Garden, go through the West Wing, and then I'm parked right there on West Executive Avenue. Inner sanctum parking. Just going to flex that for a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, there's this great oak about across from the Rose Garden, just outside the Oval Office. Every night about that time, a swarm, or the right term would be murmuration of starlings. I think they're starlings, maybe swallows. You know those birds that fly in those swooping cloud-like formations, like that. Well, whatever those beautiful and mystical creatures are, they do a bit of a show every night over the South Lawn, and eventually they all end up on this one great oak. It seems like millions of them. Well, as I walked across, I was overwhelmed by the sound. It seemed like every single inch of this tree had a bird sitting on it, chirping away and whistling about. The whole tree was just roaring with life, and it moved me to such a degree that I did something I almost never do. I pulled out my phone and I took a video. I took a video because I wanted to capture the sound. I recorded for about 12 seconds and then hit stop. And a second or two later, it happened. Pow! Like a thunderclap. All the chirping, whistling, singing came to a most incredibly abrupt instant stop with a single whoosh, as if every single wing simultaneously beat into the ground. You could feel it. And then, like a starburst on the 4th of July, the entire tree exploded. It just exploded. Birds disappeared silently in a 360-degree splash across the sky. And then all you could hear was the soft breeze traversing the branches. I gasped. I'd never seen anything like this in my life. And then my first emotion, staring at the phone that I still had raised with that solid red button right under my thumb, having just hit stop. I missed it. I couldn't believe that I had missed it. And then my second reaction was to look around. A Secret Service agent, another walker by, anyone. I just wanted to ask anybody, did you see that? And then I caught myself. And I deliberately executed the grace that I often preach. I hadn't missed anything, right? I didn't record it, but I most certainly did not miss it. I experienced it in real time, and no one else was there. That was just for me. I had to now either choose to be angry about what I initially perceived that I had missed, or simply be present and accept that incredible experience as a gift with grace. That was a God wink. And I'm so eternally thankful that I didn't miss anything. It was a sawubona. I see you. And perhaps it was also a question. Do you see me? Try to see him. Shiboka, I exist for you. In a clinical practice, no matter which specialty you're called to, whether it's patients or colleagues or support staff, you're going to have infinite opportunities to make choices, to accept grace, even to extend it. Simply by the nature of what we do, it's going to be hard to get through a day without having a good number of people really impacting their lives in meaningful ways. But don't let that get routine. All right, don't forget the power that you have to just choose to greet random people with a smile. Don't be blind to God winks. All right, and don't miss opportunities to perhaps deliver one to someone else. We all try to be generous with our time, but ultimately, you have to make something sacred or you're going to be eaten alive. All right, there are just so many things in medical practice they're going to necessarily take you away from. Some specialties have more fixed hours than others, but say you start traveling, be that longer term like locum tenens, or just quick hits like regional academic contributions, governance bodies, anything like that. Or those specialties that just have to be covered 24/7. Hospitals don't close on holidays or weekends. Somebody has to work Christmas and Thanksgiving, Super Bowl Sunday, New Year's Eve, all that. Just like cops and firefighters and other public servants, there's no time out. And most certainly, those of you who are entering the military, you will be voluntarily giving up almost all autonomy. I've had a career whereby I've almost always had a job with extremely unpredictable hours and travel. And I'm lucky enough to have an amazingly resilient and self-reliant wife and three wonderful girls. Now, I'm not going to make any successful campaign for Father of the Year or anything like that. I mean, frankly, you know, I failed more than most at being present. And if I'm being very honest, I failed at being fully present even when I was able to physically be in the house. That's something I still have to consciously work on, but I do experience more joy when I make the effort. One thing that I got right, all right, that I'm really proud that I actually pulled this off is I knew that no matter how much I wish it wasn't the case, that I was just going to have to miss a few Christmases. All right, we just celebrate on a different day. I tried never to miss both Christmas and Thanksgiving, on the same year, but deployments will even knock that seemingly reasonable goal back into the ground. Anyway, all three of my girls are competitive dancers. And I don't know if any of you know that scene, but it's a lifestyle, all right? And one of the very many time and money pits that any family can, and should if you can, choose, much like cheer, lacrosse, club sports, that sort of thing. Anyway, with dance, picture 500 little girls and a few brave, talented little boys, mostly middle school and below, screaming and cheering and performing to rock concert decibel, very energetic music, always out of town at a hotel or a convention center, merchandise vendors everywhere you look, starting around 6 or 7 on a Friday evening, and then going 8 to 8 on Saturday, and starting again Sunday morning with awards, which are plastic trophies and medals, typically around 2 in the afternoon. What a racket. They did musical theater too with this wonderful troupe called the Talent. Well, that one thing that I held sacred, no matter what, even for overseas trips, was that even if I hadn't been able to see them in the beginning, I may have missed makeup, costumes, hair, the energy circle, all that. They knew that if they were out on stage, somewhere out in that audience, through the Klieg lights, Dad was out there, beaming with pride, usually with tears in his eyes, watching the most beautiful creations he could ever imagine, gracefully floating through the air, turning as if they were on ice, explosively kicking their legs overhead, dramatically punctuating the end of a high energy dance with a stomp. And then I'd go crazy, letting out my signature woohoo at the natural fade at the end of any of these, hoping that it would reach their ears through the cacophony, and hoping even now that woohoo landed somewhere in their hearts and stays with them forever, everywhere they go. All three girls are grown up now. They're thriving, talented young women. I don't get to see them on stage anymore. Sure, I get to see them kicking butt out there in their life, and I can't even imagine what amazing gifts lie ahead for us as we enter a new phase of existence. Nevertheless, I don't get to see them perform like I did all those years. That's done. But I did every single time that I could, and it brought me so much joy. I simply can't imagine what I would have missed if I hadn't chosen that one thing to be sacred. So to be a good physician, you have to use all your senses, right? Common sense, sense of humor, see your patients, hear your patients, and don't forget the power of touch. Right? There's an inherently clerical value to the laying on of hands and to the administering the remedy of human touch. And I'm not merely talking about your physical exam skills. Now, I realize that not every person is equally comfortable with touch. It is an intimate sense. We're not all the same, cultural factors, personality traits, all that stuff. But you've got to get comfortable with it. All right. Otherwise, you may miss effectively connecting with certain patients. And this is absolutely a skill which can and should be taught, and it can be learned. That brings me to a very specific memory from my first year of med school. I was standing there. We were all standing there. First year students in our very first osteopathic manipulative medicine class. Yeah, it was our first class, and so Drs. Eileen G. Giovanni and Stan Shywich, they were legends. Anyway, they're teaching this class, and you feel very kind of like vulnerable, okay? And men are dressed down, they're just their shorts, bare chested, and women are dressed down in shorts, like a halter top or something like that. So everyone feels kind of vulnerable and exposed. This is 30 years ago. Yeah. So they paired us up and they had us all face one wall. So the examiner person is behind the patient person. Okay, now palpate this person's back, right over the trapezius. Now take your palms and put them squarely over the shoulder blades. Now lean in and flatten your palms against the skin. Feel the temperature. Feel the tissue texture. And they paused. And then Dr. Shiowitz said it best. Okay, you're touching another human being. Get over it. I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget it. So regardless of your specialty, we almost all examine patients. We all teach and learn from patients. We can certainly all comfort patients. And I'll do you one better. It is absolutely fitting and important to exchange appropriate physical affection for your patients if sound judgment tells you that that is what your patient needs in order for you to be most effective in helping them. You'll need to be the one who tells a mother she's got breast cancer, the one who tells the son his dad didn't make it, the one who has to answer the questions and the fear and the anxiety that every patient need has. And a lot of times it's going to be good news, all right? Yeah, it's a boy, it's a girl, or look, as I used to say, it's a baby. They can usually figure it out on their own right there. Yeah. But how about this? There's no signs left to any tumor. Imagine you get to be the one to look at someone and say, hey man, we're looking, there's no signs of any regrowth anywhere. Or to look at a couple and reflect, gee, you guys seem to be working things out. That's great. Yeah. You're going to be instantly involved in these people's lives. And here it is. I'll say it out loud. Darn it. If someone needs a hug, hug them. All right? The practice of medicine is necessarily an individual, interpersonal human relationship. And these individual, interpersonal human relationships bring joy to both parties. They facilitate the math. And even as technology changes the face of medicine, mostly for good, if I can champion one behavior that protects this proud profession from losing the defining attribute as we gain other, very valuable attributes, I will be squarely in the corner of touch. All right, so now here's a famous old Kevin O'Connor quote. If you allow yourselves to become friends with your patients, then eventually you're only taking care of your friends, and that's not work, right? That's visiting with, catching up with, and helping out your friends. Isn't that the description of a day that you'd be much more likely to look forward to? Don't you think that approach might bring you more joy? You see, my central charge to you is a very simple one. The one thing to remember, or if nothing else touches you today, I want you to always remember that I came to Listener Auditorium on your match day and stood there in front of God and many of your loved ones. I asked you to do one thing for you. Be a good doctor. Now you're thinking, heck, I'm going to be a great doctor. But that's not what I mean. All right, to be a good doctor is different than being a skilled doctor. Now, hopefully you'll be both, but good is more important. You will be taught to be skilled in your residencies. You were taught to be good, both how and why, by the people sitting in this room here with you today and out there on the computer screens, on the live stream, by the people who love you. All right, the things that make you good are the intangibles. All right, I guarantee in your training thus far, you've already seen examples of good and less good doctors. Good doctors make eye contact. Good doctors are active listeners. Good doctors truly empathize with and take on small portions of their patient's sufferings. Not enough to be incapacitated, but enough to be effective. Good doctors never seem rushed, even if they are. Now, not many people are going to tell you this, but I will. Good doctors genuinely love their patients. They love with abandon. All right, don't be afraid to love your patients. All right, and as I just recommended earlier, certainly don't be afraid to hug your patients. that very well might be the only hug in that person's life. How good would a hug feel to a person who hasn't been hugged in decades? We're told not to get too close. All right. I respect the people who are teaching these things. Don't get too close, maintain objectivity. I reject that premise. All right. Too close is only too close if it's closer than your patient wants you to be. Right. And here's the little secret: most patients want you to care for them as if they're family. So don't be afraid to do that. So back to privilege. When we speak of privilege in medicine, I guess my first thought would be the inherent intimacy of every patient encounter. This intimacy is sacred. And if you're gonna have, yeah, you're just gonna have to get used to it. If you let yourself be fully cognizant of the gravity of that privilege, it can be overwhelming. You're gonna meet people in their most vulnerable moments. Patients don't tend to go to the doctor because they're having a great day. All right. And I'm not just talking about scenarios when your patient may be actually realizing the raw mortality, realizing that they just aren't have enough to even put things in order. They're frantic trying to reconcile an unsolvable dilemma. But doc, there's so many things I have to do, so many conversations, so many hatchets that are still unburied. But no, their body has an expiration date that they just didn't know was right around the corner. Yeah, for many specialties, not all, these scenes are ones in which you will undoubtedly find yourself for sure. But vulnerability doesn't have to be that dramatic. Just go into an exam room. Now, take off all your clothes. All right. Get into a paper thin gown. If you're lucky, an actual paper gown, more likely, with your moneymaker catching air with every step. All right. Now, sit on the crinkly paper and wait for 45 minutes, staring at the pale, peeling formica and the warped wallpaper of your exam room. And your reward is to have a harried attending, yawning, bloodshot-eyed resident, and three wide-eyed, sheepish medical students walk in and ask you to put your feet in the stirrups and slide down to the bottom of the table. No, a little more, a little more. Yeah. Okay. That seems a bit vulnerable to me, and that's perhaps for a patient who doesn't even have anything wrong with them, but they don't know that for sure, which is the reason they're there to begin with. So now take that familiar uniform of being a patient, and now let's top that off with a specific, fact-based, very rational anxiety. Maybe now you have a 35-year-old male who saw blood in the toilet, and they're afraid that it may be cancer, like the one that killed their uncle. Heck, maybe this is the first time that they've ever talked to anybody about anything that involved their anus. Right? That seems like a fairly reasonable thing to assume, right? It takes a clear and necessary flavor of courage and maturity to even cross that threshold and speak to another human being about things like that. And guess who they're going to confide in? You. And by God, you better be considerate enough and sensitive and mature enough and generous enough and compassionate enough to meet this other human being where they are. Please be fully present and engage this other human being with the dignity and the respect and with the successfully effective projection that you're entirely familiar with and comfortable with, whatever topic that they follow you, so as to make that patient feel affirmed and to make them feel reassurance that you were the right person for them to confide in. And certainly that they should feel no embarrassment or shame for sharing that with you, right? You got this. Patients are going to share things with you that they've never shared with anyone in their life. Not their spouse, not their friends, not with their siblings, not with their spiritual advisors. Patients are going to share their apprehensions, many well-founded, many not founded at all. They'll share their perceived failings, their guilt, and their shame. But guess what? They're also going to share their sense of relief, their gratitude, their forgiveness, their victories. They'll be excited to tell you about the vacation that they just took or that they're planning, about their new puppy and how they're so behind on their sleep. They'll whip out their phones. They'll tell you about their grandkids. They'll invite you to their wedding. And once in a blue moon or so, they'll simply put a bent up spoon in your hand with a key and a hand-drawn strip map. They will share their joy. Yes, in the end, medicine is simply about sharing. And sharing is a two-way street. Remember both the math and the science. The science that you've been taught over these last 4 years has armed you with a basic clinical acumen sufficient enough that we can send you to some patients. In about how many minutes? 20 minutes or so, you're going to open those envelopes and find out where you're going for brilliant residency faculties to use hammers and anvils and heat to refine your abilities into subject matter experts, to forge you into mighty specialists. That's the science. But please, please remember the math that I reviewed with you today. It is exponential math plotted on a hyperbolic curve. Pain shared is pain divided. Joy shared is joy multiplied. Always, always remember the math. You will be a variable in this equation. Be variable for good. Be a variable for good, and true joy will be your reward. I promise you. This equation is not a hypothesis. It is not a theory. This equation is a law. Make sure that you and the world around you benefit greatly because you win. Yes, love your patients. Love them with abandon, and that will bring you immeasurable. Okay, that brings you about 30, 35 minutes closer to opening those envelopes. Good luck in your match. What's supposed to happen is what's going to happen. No cap. Trust. Bloom where you're planted. Congratulations. Sawabona.
Shiboku. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Shiboku. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor. Shiboku. Beautiful. And at this point, we had our plant there for a minute, but it is true. You're going to all learn something pretty soon. It's really exciting. And you are going to all land in the right place. And for many of you, it may not be the very first one you wanted, but it's going to be the right one. But at this point, I get to turn this over after thanking Dr. O'Connor for those wonderful comments to our decadal staff, who I hope will have some riotous preparations for us as we approach the witching hour. Thank you.
Well, good morning. We're not going to stand up here very long. We know that you're very anxious to open those envelopes. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor, for your remarks, and Dean Bass. I just really have two brief things to say to the class of 2024. First of all, congratulations. You had a phenomenal match. We're extremely proud of you. We've seen the list. I think you're going to be very happy. You've worked very, very hard, and this is your time to celebrate. And as Dr. O'Connor said to you, uh, please accept this moment of joy in your lives with a lot of grace. I also want to acknowledge several individuals, our three career advising deans, Preetha Ghosh, Stephen Davis, and Lorenzo Norris, who worked extremely hard to support you through the process. I will tell you, I've been doing this job for many years. I can't think of three more deserving individuals, great student affairs deans to have. I also want to acknowledge Dean Goldberg, whose cell phone is on 24/7 to support all of our students at any time. I also want to thank our specialty department advisors and our department chairs who also supported you in this journey. Let's give them a round of applause. And the people behind the scenes, the staff of the Office of Student Affairs and Office of Medical Education, who also supported you in many ways. The rest of our deans, it really takes a village to train a medical student. The second thing I want to do is to thank you. Thank you for coming 4 years ago. I'll never forget, in July of 2020, we began to receive phone calls from some of you, from some of your parents, wondering, is it really safe to go to Washington, D.C. as a pandemic is raging and there was so much political unrest, there was a lot of concern at that time. You remember that we gave you the choice. You want a hybrid experience or a virtual experience? Those were dark days. The city of DC was very strict. We could only have 10 individuals gathered in a room. Those were strictly enforced. So we had a lot of challenges, and there was no playbook to think about how can you deliver a medical school curriculum in the pandemic. Nothing in Up to Date or Dine in Bed told us how to do that. I also want to thank you because you helped us navigate that. I want to call out Walters. Walters, thank you. Where is Walters? Walters, can you stand up? There you are. You know, there's a book series called Where's Waldo? We never had to worry where's Waldo. He was always there. He was there on Zoom. I'd get calls from Dean Goldberg. Hey, Walters wants a Zoom call. I would say, well, I would say, now what? She said, oh, it's something pretty simple. Or I say, well, what is it? She said, I don't know. He won't tell me. So, but I will say that he was really advocating for your class. He brought issues to us sometimes that he didn't have strong feelings about, but he was doing his job as your class president. So I want us to all thank Walters for all of the things he's done for your class. And I also want to thank all the members of your class. You really helped the medical school in amazing ways. You helped us do a couple things. You helped us realize that we needed to do a better job communicating with you. And we put things into place because of your strong voice that we needed to do things a little differently. You helped us make improvements in the organ system blocks. You helped us realize that we were asking you to write much too many reflection papers. So thank you for helping us understand that. We also want to thank you for helping us realize that we needed to do a better job with our feedback to you on the clerkships. Thank you for being bold enough to let us know where we needed to make improvements for you that is going to benefit medical students behind you. So again, thank you for being bold and courageous. Come in August of 2024, in August of 2020, there was no white coat ceremony that year. We were all locked down in a pandemic, but yet you came and you trusted us and you helped us figure how to make medical school at least feasible during a pandemic. So thank you very much for everything that you've done. Congratulations. Best wishes.
All right, class of 2024, let's hear it. 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 All right, they got me on a time limit. They got me on a time limit now. So, we got students here. We got so many people, these future physicians, but I know we got parents in the audience, right? Or we got some parents, some loved ones, some girlfriends, some boyfriends, some brothers, some sisters. All right, let's give it up for them because they made a sacrifice. Y'all up in the office crying with tears and everything. I wanted to go to this. I wanted to go to that. Your parents and your family say, keep going past COVID, keep going past all of that. So, parents, I want to talk to y'all specifically because the joy and gift that you gave us in terms of the physician and the character of these students, we can never, ever, ever fully appreciate. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. But now, parents, I want to give you just one little thing because, I got a daughter going to college right now. And parents, some of y'all going to be making some trips. You're going to be visiting some folks because this is how we do it in GW. The class of 2024 has stretched far and broad. We got them on the West Coast. We got some people in Colorado. We got them in California. We got them all over the place. All right. We got them in the Midwest, in Ohio, Michigan. That's right, all of that. We definitely got them in the South. All right, Texas, Alabama. And as I like to say, and hopefully everybody understands this, we own 95. We own 95. All the way from Florida, going from South Carolina to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Maryland. And yeah, we go all the way up to a couple of those schools you may know in Boston too. All right. So, and most importantly, yeah, that's right. We got a lot of people who chose to stay right here at home at GW. All right. So, on behalf of the Office of Student Affairs and the School of Medicine, I want to thank you. We salute you. We applaud you. And it has been a privilege and an honor to serve you all. And if you see a sparkle in our eye, you're that joy. So thank you so very much.
Okay, I'm going to be real fast. All right, thank you all. So it's been an exciting journey. This is like one of the most exciting days so far. A journey that started maybe like a couple of years ago for some of us, and for others like decades ago. I'm not going to call names, but we are here today in this great institution that we now call home. And I say that because this institution has literally turned us from pre-meds to physicians on May 19. So yes, this is home. And we have been through many exciting things from the day we received that email from Dean McHale, emails to the deans and Aubrey, COVID, virtual stuff, back to in person. We've experienced great things. We've overcome a lot of difficulties, and you did an excellent job. So I want you to remember that. Never forget that. And lastly, I just want to say who we are. I went on our online post the other day and just took the last post just to see where we're at. And our Facebook post was someone posting for their little self promoting their research. A group me was someone trying to get accommodation from a friend coming to do an away rotation here. Um, okay, Instagram was about the holidays, wishing us a restful one. Slack cut us some slack, and General was about signing a thank you card. Another post on how to get rooms booked by student organizations. So we just gave and gave and gave. This was not about the authors. It was about serving others. You served our community, and I believe that you will go on to serve the whole world, literally. You will be great leaders. Congratulations for the match, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, we're almost there. So I want to add my personal congratulations to all of you, your family, and your friends. You are incredible, smart, caring, passionate, hardworking, almost doctors. And so we have 3.5 minutes. I want to introduce the future doctors to you in no particular order. Will the amazing internist stand up? Okay. Okay. Will the kind radiologist stand up? Will the super OBGYNs stand up? Will the fantastic general surgeons stand up? Will the great anesthesiologists stand up? Will the thoughtful psychiatrists stand up? Will the marvelous family medicine doctors stand up? Will the astonishing ophthalmologists stand up? Will the wonderful PM&R docs stand up? Will the remarkable EMED docs stand up? Will the terrific ENT stand up? Will the incredible orthopedic surgeons stand up? Will the stupendous vascular surgery stand up? Will the remarkable radiation oncologists stand up? Will the skillful plastic surgeons stand up? Will the excellent child neurologist stand up? Will the fabulous neurologist stand up? Will the astonishing neurosurgeon stand up? And last but not least, I don't think I missed anybody. Will the wonderful dermatologist stand up? Did I miss anyone? Stand up. Okay. Okay. So we're going to count down. You ready? Is there anyone who didn't get their envelope? Laquita, who we need to thank, who did a great job putting this together, is down here if you didn't get your envelope. And last quick thing. The reception is across the street in the university, 3rd floor next door. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your envelopes.
Congratulations on your match. Where did you match today?
I matched anesthesiology at UNC Chapel Hill.
You excited?
Very excited.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your match today. Where'd you match?
Thank you, Taylor.
Are you excited?
Very. Just, getting to know wherever you went, and, I'm just so excited for everybody.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your match. Where'd you match today?
I'm heading to University of Pittsburgh to do a combined pediatrics anesthesiology residency.
Congratulations. What are you most excited about today?
Oh gosh, to move in the same city as my best friend.
Congratulations. He can't see us. There's good. Okay. Hey, congratulations today on your match. Where'd you match?
U Miami Jackson for internal medicine.
Are you excited?
I get to go back to Florida, where I'm from, so can't complain.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Congrats. All right. Well, congratulations on your match today. Where'd you match?
I matched NYU neurosurgery.
Awesome. What are you most excited about?
I'm really excited about finally getting started on my career, starting as an intern, and my dad, he's a neurosurgeon as well. He's been my hero since I was 3 years old. I'm just looking forward to following his footsteps and making him proud every step of the way.
Congratulations. Sounds amazing.
Thank you guys.
Match? Where'd you match today?
I went to match at USF Tampa.
Awesome. What are you most excited about?
Moving to Tampa. I love living near the beach, and I'm ready to get started for residency for emergency medicine.
Awesome. Awesome. Can you hold up your sign?
Of course.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your match. Where are you headed?
Indiana,
And what are you going to be? What is your specialty?
emergency medicine.
What are you most excited about today?
Oh my God, so much. It's just the emotions are kind of hitting right now. It's just the being in this room again from white coat to now. It's just been such a long experience and just you can feel the change in it. So just being around with everyone too, and we all have to share in this is definitely it's been really special.
Congratulations. Best of luck to you. Congratulations today on your match. Where'd you match?
Yale,
And what are you going into?
emergency.
And what are you most excited about today?
Well, now it's over. So the stress is gone.
Congratulations. Best of luck. Anybody else too? Awesome. So, congratulations on your match. Where'd you match?
Children's National in DC.
And so you're going to be a pediatrician. What are you most excited about?
I guess just continuing to learn, and yeah, I'm excited I'm going to be here in DC.
That's amazing. Congratulations and best of luck. All right, congratulations today on your match. Where'd you match?
Rutgers for both my prelim and my radiation oncology residency.
Fantastic. And what are you most excited about today?
I'm just excited to spend the time with my family. I'm going to be heading back to Jersey because that's where I'm from, so I'm really happy.
Congratulations and best of luck.
matched at Columbia
What specialty?
in pediatrics.
And what are you most excited about today?
I'm excited about going to New York. I've never experienced it, so it's going to be a great experience.
Best of luck over the next couple of years and enjoy the day. Congratulations. Where'd you match? Where'd you match? And what do you guys match? What did you match?
Yemenar. Medicine.
All right. Well, congrats. Best of luck over the next couple of years. Congratulations. Where did you match to? UPMC. Awesome. And what specialty are you going for? Awesome. What are you most excited about today?
Like the satisfaction of knowing where we're going and that we can celebrate all together here in person. The energy's been great, and I'm really excited to stay in DC. I love it here. My fiance is here, so very happy.
Congratulations to both of you and best of luck over the next couple of years. Take care. All right. Well, congratulations today. Where'd you match?
At Mass General Brigham for emergency medicine.
And I'm going to Brown for internal medicine. Awesome. And what are you most excited about today?
To meet all these fantastic mentors and to meet my new class and to become a fantastic doctor and take care of a lot of awesome patients.
Today I'm really excited to share this moment with everybody. We've really gotten to know each other the last 4 years, so it's an amazing moment.
Congratulations to both of you and best of luck. Where did you match? And so what are you most excited about today? It's really wonderful. And best of luck. Congratulations. No, but congratulations today. This is going to come in here. So where'd you match?
I matched
Nice, nice. Where did you match? Wonderful. Congratulations to both of you.
It's actually what my parents did here. So,
Had some Amazing. Congrats. And so what are you most excited about today?
Having my friends and family here to celebrate and maybe not having some stress anymore after this.
Celebrating with my parent, my wife, and super excited to know that we get to stay close to buy a house and in a couple of years have a baby.
All right, congrats. Well, best of luck for the next couple of years. Sounds like you got a lot on deck. Thank you. Awesome. I'm so sorry I'm interrupting. So congratulations. Congratulations to both of you today. Where did you match? Where are you headed?
Michigan for vascular surgery.
Gosh, amazing. What are you most excited about after today, now that you know?
No, I'm just excited to get started. I'm a non-credential applicant. I've been in the military for 4 years on active duty, and I'm really ready to go back and get to work.
That's incredible. Thank you for everything you're going to do. Thank you for everything you've done, and congratulations. Best of luck all the next year. All right, well, that's it for Match Day 2024. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next year on Match Day 2025. Take care.